Beauty means to me, wow. I think beauty's on the inside. Like truly. I think if you're happy inside, I think you're gonna automatically be beautiful on the outside.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Jessica Young, an award-winning esthetician, med spa owner, and the official Aerolace brand ambassador for Southwest Florida. Within just 2 years of launching her business, she became the first in Naples to offer both the Aerolace Neo Elite and Era Elite devices, setting a new standard for results-driven skincare. She earned the title of Florida's Best Esthetician in both 2024 and 2025, and expanded her practice into a full storefront with a growing team of estheticians and a spa coordinator. Featured in Slaying Naples for her leadership and community impact, Jessica is also the founder of Wags to Riches, a nonprofit organization that supports animals and families in need across Collier County. So Jess, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm curious. Let's start off with this. What first got you interested in the medical field?
I would say what first kind of kicked it off was my own personal journey with my skin. I experienced at a young age, 25, that I was having wrinkles and I just was like, what's happening? I'm only 25.
Mm.
And so that really started me on my own skincare journey, which led me to Botox and microneedling. And that was kind of a can of worms for me. I loved it.
Mm. Okay. And so from that, that's why you decided that you want to do that when you grew up, basically.
Pretty much. Yep.
Okay, got it. And then, so you started this practice, Skin Co. What led you to want to start your own practice? I mean, why not just work for some other place?
Yeah, that's actually a great question because I graduated from school, aesthetic school, and it was the dead of summer in my city, which we live in a very seasonal city. So it's dead during the summer. And I knew I needed to get a job in my field right away.
Mhm.
I started off at a wax center, which was so not what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
but I knew I needed to be in my industry because otherwise you never leave your comfy job. And so a few short months there, I got an opportunity at a dermatologist office. And when I got there, I was like, I had made it. I thought this was going to be the place I spent the rest of my life at. Like I had it, I had the 401k, the benefits, I was doing all the medical grade things I wanted to do, or at least I thought I wanted to do when I started. And the derm I worked for, she was great, very prestigious derm in town. And I just felt like there was a huge piece missing for what I could give to my clients. And after I was hit with numerous no's from the doctor for more advanced treatments or more result driven treatments that I wanted to bring into the practice, I was frustrated because at that point I was one, not able to give my clients the results that they deserved. And two, I was sending business down the street. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was saying, go up the street to this place to get help because at the end of the day, my goal is always patient satisfaction. And whether that's with me or not, that was what I wanted to do. So after um, 2.5 years, I got an opportunity to leave that practice and open up my own. And that's where I was really able to flourish and bring whatever I wanted to into my practice. And really, that is the root of it all,
Mhm.
was being able to give the best to my clients. And that's why I started my own practice.
Got it. Okay. And so now that you have your practice, I want to talk about some of the treatments that you provide. I'll start with acne because that was the one that you kind of mentioned as kind of how you got your
Yeah.
started into aesthetics.
Yes.
So tell me a little about the acne treatments that you provide. Like when it comes to acne treatments, I think a lot of people think of it like it's just for teenagers, not really for adults. And I know there's like myths as far as like you want to dry out the skin to try and get rid of the acne. So can you
Right.
talk a little bit about kind of the common issues you see with acne and how you're able to help? I think you have a 100% success rate, so that's incredible. Like I'd love to learn more about
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say that my journey with acne wasn't a personal one, but I had a lot of clients coming to see me, and you know, when I was at the derm and I was getting no results with what I had, so I sought out Face Reality, which is a wonderful brand that I've been partnered with for almost 4 years now, and with them, I'm able to customize treatments the way I need to be able to treat the acne. And I was really successful with that. And then I brought in Aerolase, the Neo Elite, which is an ND YAG laser. And I'm able to treat the acne even faster now. And to your point of it's not just teenagers. We have women of all ages suffering from hormonal acne,
Mm.
whether they're, postpartum or uh, perimenopausal or menopausal. Like these things are, their bodies are changing, and we're able to, really analyze you, not just your skin, right? Because that's just like the surface, quite literally.
Mm.
When you really dive into acne, it is so much more. It is your lifestyle. It is what you eat. It is your stress. I mean, it is what you have in your home. And we really do a deep dive into our patients' lifestyle. And, that's how we're able to drive results with that mentality of like, hey, listen, it's so much more than what we're seeing on the surface. And um, a lot of times, sometimes we're early on in people's journey, sometimes we're the last stop. And it's sad to see, but the last stop, when it's us, they've, exhausted other derms. They've done all the medications and have gotten nowhere, have been left with no results and terrible side effects. So we are a no medication practice. So we get all these results with topical treatments.
Wow. Okay. You mentioned lifestyle. I want to dive deeper into that one. Because I think when people think of lifestyle when it comes to acne, it's like, okay, well, try not to have oily skin. So like try and like just I guess so what's the like dab my skin with like napkins or something, and then okay, avoid the fatty fast foods. But like, what are some of the tips you would say when it comes to lifestyle of what people need to be aware of to help with their acne?
So there are so many sneaky acne triggers. I mean, stress alone is an acne trigger. So
Hmm.
that is like number one, like, hey, how can we manage your stress? And the other one, working out is good, but you also need to make sure that you're not um, taking away protein. That's a sneaky acne trigger. There's many different things that are triggers and you may not even know it. Like, for instance, an acne trigger that you wouldn't even think of is miso soup. And
Hmm.
you're like,
Oh wow.
why is that? It's the algae in it. So,
Interesting.
and that's just it. So, we really, that's what we analyze. We're like, what are you eating? What are you doing? Because sometimes we're like, oh, just stop sugar or stop, oily food. It's so much more than that. I mean, even energy drinks. You're like, what's in an energy drink? Why would that cause it? It does. And, there's people that drink them and they're fine. And then there's other people that drink them and they get breakouts. So it's really,
Mhm.
there's so many things that even dryer sheets.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
they have comedogenic ingredients and that
Uh-huh.
plays into your lifestyle and what you use at home. So yeah, it's when we do our acne boot camp consultations, they're very comprehensive and it
Mhm.
is a deep dive.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like it's very, very, very personalized.
oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, I know a lot about my patients and their lifestyle because of my rigorous consultations. And
Mhm.
that's why I do have such a success rate with my acne patients.
Wow. Okay. Then that it starts to make sense because I mean, with lifestyle, I do believe it plays a big role. So I didn't realize like there's certain foods that you think, oh, miso soup, like that's not going to make me get acne.
Right.
But then like things like,
Hmm.
oh, like energy drinks, I wouldn't have never guessed of energy drinks,
Yeah.
or the dryer
I
sheets either. I would have never guessed on those ones.
I
Uh,
mean, there's so many.
yeah. So also want to understand like what's your thoughts on the different products out there for acne, and if you could touch on this one thing that I learned very recently, because like I remember when I was a teenager and I had acne, I would do like the acne like cream, and I put it on the pimple and try to get rid of it, or I'd have
Hmm.
like this liquid that I would put on the pad and like kind of like rub it all over. I think it was to dry out my face, and
Yeah.
like I took the medication as well. So like, what are your thoughts on all these different types of products? Like, are they good? Are they not good? Like, what's your general thoughts about it?
Well, I'll tell you this. The industry as a whole, right? The whole beauty industry, it's overwhelming the amount of products that are on the market. So I think as a consumer, it's very difficult to find what works for you. And that's why I think it is so great to have an esthetician kind of guide you on that. Because there are products out there that work, and there's products that literally work against you, and they have comedogenic ingredients, and you're not going to know those ingredients off the top of your head. And that's why when we do start working with our acne patients, we're a little control crazy, and we're like, you cannot use any other products during this program because it will significantly change your outcome, right? Like if there's, we try and have them on all of our products, but there are occasions where I'm like, okay, this product, if you still have it, you can use it. It's safe, but don't use anything else without like our permission, essentially.
Mm,
Um, because that's the thing. There are so many products out there and they're not all made equally. Um, and that's where people get themselves in trouble. And even people without acne prone skin go to Target or Sephora and they buy stuff and it breaks them out. And they're like, why am I breaking out? And they show me, and I'm like, oh, well, you were using XYZ, and that's why.
okay. So if someone normally doesn't have acne, but then occasionally does get it, it's not just, oh, what did I eat the other day? It could be a bunch of other things, like what products am I using? What else am I putting on my skin? Uh, could it be like I'm putting a different type of sunscreen on and that could cause acne?
Oh, yeah. And sunscreens are the biggest offenders of having
Really?
comedogenic
Wow.
ingredients. Yes.
Okay.
Because you don't think,
Hmm.
that it would be an issue. You're just putting sunscreen on. It's pretty basic. No, it's not. It's a love hate with sunscreen. I mean, it is quintessential in our practice to use sunscreen, but we need to make sure that it's safe for your acne prone skin.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I'd like you to talk a little bit more. I kind of alluded to this earlier about dry skin. Like drying out your skin is actually really bad for acne, which kind of sounds counterintuitive. It's like I have oily
Yeah.
skin, it's causing this acne. If I just dry it out, then it'll solve the problem. So could you talk a little bit more about that? Like why drying out the skin is actually worse for your acne?
Yes, absolutely. So it's so funny because the number one thing associated with acne is excess oil. So a lot of times we get these people that are like, well, I don't use moisturizer and I don't use a hydrator or anything like that because I don't want oily skin. When in fact, it's the complete opposite because oil, funny enough, is one of our skin's defense mechanisms. So without oil, our body is like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm freaking out. Why don't I have oil? I'm going to make more oil, hence more acne. So
Mm.
it is literally the bane of my existence to try and teach people the importance of a moisturizer. And just fun fact, moisturizers and hydrators are two totally different things.
Hmm.
Hydrators, you get water; moisture, you get oil. So that is
Interesting.
important to note.
Okay.
So yeah, we there there is you don't want to dry out the skin. We want to dry out the acne. We don't want to dry out the skin.
Mm.
So there's
Okay.
a big difference there, and we obtain those results not by necessarily drying out the skin. So, but
Mm.
it is a common misconception that
Mm.
that is the right thing to do. So.
Okay. So then I guess what are some other misconceptions? I think there's a lot of myths around acne, um,
Mm.
and a lot of just bad information around acne. So what would you say are some of the most common misconceptions that you've seen and that you've heard from your clients?
Common misconceptions, that they need medicine to treat it,
Mm,
that is the only option. But no, you don't. You 100% don't need medication to treat acne. Um, Misconception that it's, only hormone, like when you're a teenager, it's only hormone related. No, that's not true. There's many different, like we talked about, triggers for acne. Um, there's no discrimination in acne. Anyone of any race, of any gender, can get acne. Like I hear a lot of times, like, oh, well, he's a boy, he doesn't get acne. Well,
Mhm.
that's not true. He can totally get acne, but it is a misconception that women have more acne than men.
Okay.
Another misconception that like when you're in your 20s, you don't need to worry about acne, or when you're in your 30s, you don't need to worry about acne. And you can go your whole life acne free, and then you go to, your 30s or 35, that's a big one.
Mhm.
35 is like lots of hormonal changes happen at 35, so that's a big misconception. The other one, which kind of touches on the medication, birth control. That birth control is a cure or treatment for acne.
Mhm.
It is not. And oftentimes, the my I see a lot in my practice. Women that have come off of birth control are now dealing with acne.
Mhm.
And it's very hormone related, and it's because their hormones have been suppressed for how many ever years they've been on birth control.
Mhm.
Or even, they go to their doctor and they say, I'm getting a pimple. Doctor prescribes them birth control. And yes, it may treat it, but when you come off that, it will come back with a vengeance.
Mhm.
So that's a big misconception.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
all this stuff around acne, I mean, there's so much, I would say, mystery or misinformation about it that
Yeah.
like all these things is like it's all brand new. I've never heard this before. I think most people have not heard about this either. So
Really?
yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're probably right because I mean, when we do our consultations with our clients, they're like, "No way, I would have never thought of that." And we're
Yeah.
like, "Yes, exactly." And that's why we're here,
Mhm.
and that's why I wish more people knew about face reality and Airlays, because the combination of them two, I I can't praise them enough.
Mhm.
And I've been able to help so many people because of both of those treatments.
Okay. Now I want to switch tracks over to microneedling because I know microneedling you also do as well.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about microneedling? What is the benefit of it? What does it do for people who've never done microneedling before?
Yeah. So loaded question,
Mhm.
because that when we get into microneedling, there's so many different benefits.
Mhm.
So if you want to just scratch the surface for anti-aging, with one microneedling treatment, you get enough collagen production to make up for what you lost throughout the entire year. So
Wow.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Uh, Microneedling is also one of the oldest modalities in aesthetics. I believe it
Mhm.
was World War II is when
Oh,
they
wow.
started doing it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so it's been around forever and ever.
Mhm.
And obviously, we take advantage of that here in the aesthetic world now. But they were using it for, wound healing, essentially.
Beautiful.
And scarring and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So yeah, so the other thing I really love it for is acne scarring.
Mm.
Those big pitted boxcar acne scars, great for that. I mean, I have so many before and after pictures of patients that have suffered with this acne scarring forever and didn't even know there was help. And with one treatment, we get such good results.
Wow.
So I microneedling is one of my favorite modalities for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So this was a lot. So it sounds like there's a lot that microneedling can do. But since we're talking about acne, it can help a lot with the acne scars.
Yes.
Okay.
And another thing you may get to this question, so maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. But I just want to kind of preface and say that I find in my industry, in aesthetics as a whole, I'm talking derms and med spas and estheticians, everything in between,
Mhm.
tend to steer away from acne. One, I think my thought on it is because they don't think it's that profitable.
Mhm.
Um, And no, it's not the most expensive treatments, but if you build that relationship with that client and you help them with the literal worst time of their life with their
Mhm.
skin, they are clients forever. And
Mm.
those clients, they come back to treat the residual of the acne, which is that acne scarring. It's the PIH, which is the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation that's left over from the acne. So it doesn't just stop with the acne,
Mm.
right? Like there's so much more. And people think, oh, well, if I cure their acne, I'm not going to see them anymore. That's my goal. I don't want to see my patients. I mean, I do, but I mean, like, I want you to have happy, healthy, glowing skin and you don't ever have to see me again.
Mm.
That's my goal as a practitioner. That's what I want. So
Mm.
I just kind of wanted to like sprinkle that in there
Yeah.
um, because I've been very successful with my acne clinic.
Okay. And
Yeah.
speaking of business, successful business, you also have another business, Glow and Go Bar, which sounds
Yeah.
like a mobile business. So,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so that is something I launched back in August of this year. It's an extension of SkinCo, which so I'm first of all, I'm sick of traditional marketing. I'm just like, it is so redundant. It is so played out. I don't like it. I love social media,
Hmm.
love, but as far as like, I don't know, magazines and just like mailing stuff, it's just, you're just so out of touch when you just like, here I am in a magazine or here this mail letter. It doesn't work for me. I've tried it all and I wanted something different, something new. And so I have also done a lot of like vendor events where you can set up a table, you have your flyers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Maybe you talk to 5 people if you're lucky, like have a true intentional conversation.
Yeah.
Now with the Glow and Go bar, we are popping up all over the place at these events, whether it's wellness or just, you know, something to be a part of. My team and myself, we go and we set up and we do mini facials there. And in that time, we have 5 to 7 minutes with a potential client.
Mhm.
And we have had so much success with that because you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, and skin is a very personal thing.
Mhm.
And you don't want just someone in a magazine that, tells you to come see them. This is like genuinely uh, good connection and intentional conversations with these people. So, yeah. And I'll tell you this, with my first event, my team saw 38 people. They did 38 little mini facials.
Mhm.
10 of those people booked, 7 came to see us.
Wow.
So that is huge.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, like I mean, seven clients is a lot.
Mhm.
So we're really, really happy with that turnout, and we continue to grow our practice that way.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. Now, for people, you talked a lot about trust, like building that relationship. So, if let's say someone is looking to get some type of treatment done, acne treatment, aesthetic treatment, whatever it is, and they don't know anybody off the top of their head, so they're looking for somebody, what would be the most important piece of advice you would give to that person as they're doing their search? Like, how can they find that right fit for them?
yeah, that's a tough question. Because I have found that Google reviews are not that reliable, right? Like they're good, don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, but it's only talking about good experiences.
Mhm.
I think the best way to find someone is word of mouth referral.
Mhm.
100%. And
Mhm.
you know what? Not everyone is for us,
Mhm.
and we're not for everyone, because people click,
Mhm.
like whatever it is, it's really a personal thing, and you have to have that trust, and you have to feel that. And I really think word of mouth is the best way to do that.
Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, what are some red flags that they should be aware of?
Okay. Well, how do I say this without, um, you know, no before and after pictures.
Mhm.
I think that's a big red flag. If you're not producing before and after pictures on a regular basis, I think that's not good because what are you saying?
Mhm.
I mean, for me, proof is in the pudding. I
Mhm.
have my before and after pictures because this is the real work we're doing with real patients in real time. Um, what else can I say? Don't buy into the uh, there's a lot of like sponsorships that happen that like put people out in places, and I don't think that's always credible either.
Hmm.
Anyone can pay to be a sponsor.
Hmm.
Anyone can pay to be somewhere. Anyone can pay to uh, get in certain magazines and things like that.
Hmm.
So I think that's the other one.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to know then. Now, Jess, when you approach your client care, how important would you say creativity is in what you do?
For client care, like as a
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
creativity,
Hmm.
um, hmm, I'd say, I mean, it's important to be creative and you have to be flexible as well.
Hmm.
But creativity in the sense of when you have a client that's not fully committed to you yet because they're not like 100% there yet, you have to get creative with how you can, you know, solidify who you are, to
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
And one way I do that, I'll tell you, is if I have someone that I get this a lot, oh, I'm really sensitive, I can't try that. I can't, I can't do any of these, I can't do. And because a lot of times what happens in the aesthetic world is you get sent home with 5 or 6 products from someone and they don't tell you how to use them and you don't know if they work or if something, whatever. So a lot of times what I do with my patients, a couple of things. One, I send them home with samples of things to try before they even buy anything with me. If they are like sensitive, I'm like, all right, let's start here. I start you on one product for 1 week. If you have no reactions, we introduce the next one. Okay, so we start with those 3 products. We do it like that for 3 weeks. If everything's good, you purchase the products. That is how I've gotten creative with my clients. The other thing I do too, I will say that I don't introduce everything all at once unless they're an acne patient. Um, because if they do, for some reason, have a reaction to something, and I started them on 5 products, I don't know which one it was. So if I have anyone on the sensitive spectrum, if they think they're sensitive, which I do lean into, if they tell me they are, I believe them. That's what I do. I'm like, we like introduce slowly, whether it be with the samples or I do one product at a time that you go home with. I don't ever just say, here's 5, 6, 7 products, use them all, let me know how it goes.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how I get creative.
Okay. And throughout your experience, I'm sure you've had some tough cases or challenging cases or even memorable cases. Is there maybe one story that comes to mind of just tough, challenging, memorable case and how you were able to get them a great outcome in the end?
Yes. So I actually, what I do in my practice, I pick one client every year to give them a full complimentary acne treatment because a lot of times um, they can't afford it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of these like severe acne patients. Um, so it's something I like to do to give back to my community a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So in last year, I had a very wonderful gal who I saw at TJ Maxx. She was checking me out, um, and I was like, gosh, I don't normally do this, but will you come see me for treatments for your skin? And she was like, well, I don't have any money for that. And I'm like, that's okay, come in. We'll talk about everything. And I treated her for about 6 months with everything. And what what a change I saw in her. She was Hispanic descent, so her family, lots of oily food. So she had to change her diet. She did that. She was doing all the hard work with me and at home.
Mm-hmm.
And what a great outcome. That was probably my most memorable case
Mm-hmm.
because this is a girl who was 18,
Mm-hmm.
stunning. I mean, just beautiful underneath her skin. And you just know it was
Mm-hmm.
wrecking her life.
Yeah.
And so that was really powerful and moving for me to be able to help her with that and get such a great outcome. I saw her at TJ Maxx like a couple months ago. Her skin is glowing. She like put me in the front of the line. I was like,
Uh,
yeah. Yes. So that was a win.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's probably my most memorable story.
that's awesome. I think
Yeah.
I just imagine the confidence that she got from that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I you mentioned confidence. I love my before and after pictures of my acne patients
Mhm.
because of course they don't want a picture of them right now.
Yeah,
They're like, how could I without makeup? Are you
yeah.
like you I mean, yes, they consent to the photo, but you can see on their face
Mhm.
they don't want that photo taken.
Yeah.
And then like just 2 weeks in, like even after their first 2 weeks of just products, I get a picture, their chin is up, they're smiling. It's such a confident booster. And those before
Mhm.
and afters of that, not only am I obviously looking at their skin, but their confidence. It
Mhm.
is glowing through the camera. So I
Mhm.
love that.
Okay, that's an awesome. And like that's really what it's all about. Just getting
Yes.
that confidence back, feeling your best self.
Yep.
So, Jess, what do you think the future of skincare, aesthetics, where do you think that's going?
Well, I don't no signs of stopping.
Mhm.
I do see it. Uh, I'm hoping that more people get more education so we can help more people. But I do see that younger people are caring about their skin sooner.
Mhm.
Um, I think that we are seeing a lot of those patients earlier on. So for aesthetics, I think it'll be interesting to see what our 20 somethings now are doing later in life because a really good thing about aesthetics, the earlier you start, the less you have to do. So I
Mhm.
think that'll be different to see in the market and, in your investment of your practice because you're not going to have these severely aged people
Mhm.
anymore. So, which is a big market for
Mhm.
aesthetics. We
Yeah.
have these young people, getting Botox at 22 now. I
Mhm.
mean, what are we going to laser away when they're 45? They're going to look great.
Mhm.
So, I think it's really the direction it's heading is more maintenance than corrective.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with your practice, SkinCo, what's your vision for SkinCo?
Ah, good question. My vision for SkinCo, I'd eventually like to have multiple, facilities,
Mhm.
um, but keeping the authenticity. And I feel like that's when you start getting more practices, that's easy to lose. Um, I also see more trainings for other estheticians from me. I'd really like to dabble in that because I love educating. Because at the end of the day, we're able to help more people if we're more educated as a collective. Um, and I also see really, I have an idea for a kind of a little different than aesthetics, but it's more wellness. I plan on opening probably in like 2 years, a wellness facility.
Oh,
So
nice.
that'll be all tied together
Yeah.
because, you're taking care of your body, you're taking
Mhm.
care of your skin.
Mhm.
So yeah, a couple things in my future for sure.
Well, it looks like it's a very grand future.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, Jess, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at
Okay. Yep.
naplesskinco.com.
Yep, that's it. And we also have our Instagram there. So if you ever want to reach out to us on there, always happy to chat. We do virtual consultations as well. So yeah,
Nice.
I look
Okay,
forward to hearing from everyone.
awesome. So the last question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Beauty means to me, wow. I I think beauty's on the inside. Like truly. I think if you're happy inside, I think you're gonna automatically be beautiful on the outside. So that's what it means to me.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. Just sharing your expertise. Now, you mentioned that people can find you on the website, also on your Instagram. Are there any other places people can contact you in your practice?
Facebook too.
Mhm.
Yep. And direct on Google, anywhere on there.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Jess, this is awesome. Thanks for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and thanks for sharing your message.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see you again.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.